So this is the one thing the Georgia players are saying they cannot do on Saturday night. This is according to Cedric Van Pran, Matt, as I knock the microphone over. He says the biggest thing is not becoming too excited or becoming too overstimulated. Another reason why I think Kentucky will have a hard time winning this game, Matt. This is their first real road game of the season. The other one was at Vanderbilt, and there was really nobody there.
Yeah, I think it's their first test of the season, depending on if you think Florida's any good or not. I mean, we still don't know how good Florida is. They had a nice little win against Tennessee at home, but that's all we know about this Kentucky team. We know they can run the ball. We know they've got a quarterback that can throw it, but he's not been super accurate this year. They've got some defenders. They're a good team, but this is by far their biggest test, and they've never seen an offense like Georgia's or a defense like Georgia's. But he's right. If they can stay calm, I mean, it's a massive game. As Dean said earlier last week, I mean, this could determine the SEC East, although Missouri is undefeated and 5-0. But this is a massive game, and if Georgia plays their game, physicality, discipline, composure, things that Kirby, preaches, that's part of this program and this culture, I think they're going to be just fine. But they do need to run the ball a little better, and especially kind of between the tackles. It feels like their best, plays running the ball are coming on the edge. So as the center, he's got to be the leader there. And if they can run the football successfully, I think they're going to not have too much of a problem here, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I think they've shown composure all year, really. I mean, you go back to South Carolina, you're down 14-3 at half. We all saw, the SEC inside feature on that. They were composed, they were calm, they knew what had to be done. Cedric Van Pran was one of those people in that clip that's up there standing, giving directions, just being a leader. So that's something, and I think Carson Beck especially has shown that. He's just so even-keeled. But, you're down in the second half now twice to SEC schools, and they've shown resiliency, they've shown fight. So, yeah, they've got to continue to do that. I do think it will be tough for Kentucky to win this game, but if Georgia just plays clean football, I don't think they're going to have any problems.
I mean, I think if it's clean, it's going to be really hard for Kentucky to win. Just being honest, their average third down distance, do y'all know what it is?
No.
Okay, well, you've not yet read Final Feelings over at Dog Post, because you would know their average third down is 3rd and 8.2, Ryan. 3rd and 8.2. That's not ideal when you are on the road. I'm just saying, listen, on the road for the first time. This is a good Kentucky team. I don't know if they are in the level of Georgia, to be honest with you. I see this so much with Georgia basketball and Kentucky through the years, where one of them is a legitimate top 10 team or program, and the other one seems to build momentum, and then all of a sudden they play the game and they get smashed. And that's Georgia's basketball team. Will that continue against Mike White? I don't know. Honestly, this Kentucky football team is better than Georgia's basketball has been, no doubt. But at the same time, let's just say 58% completion rate from the quarterback. He's throwing 2 touchdowns for, Matt. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. I'm going in on this a little bit in a second here, but go ahead.
I like the deep dive, by the way, that you went into. That's good stuff. He's missed some easy throws. And I think on that first possession against Florida, he missed a guy that was wide open in the end zone. They ended up settling for a field goal. Ended up scoring a lot of touchdowns after that. But he could play better. But it's Ray Davis, the Vanderbilt transfer, that's come in and breaking a lot of tackles, playing, tough football. And they run a lot of power, a lot of counter. They've got athletic offensive linemen that can play out in space.
Is that power going to work all night long against Georgia? See, I mean, like, can you?
Not, but it could here and there.
Yeah, no.
I thought Kentucky was the second best team going into this season in the SEC East. I like this Kentucky team a lot. I don't mean to talk over Ryan if I did, but I like Kentucky, and I think they're going to be able to move the ball a little bit. I think they'll get into the end zone once or twice, but they're not going to consistently run on Georgia, especially up the middle. I mean, it's been really tough to run between the tackles against Georgia. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to run on the outside, and Auburn use their athletic quarterbacks to get out there. So they're going to be running in a different way, a different style. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up for 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters, because if they can't, it's going to be really, really tough for them to win this game.
Yeah, I don't think that they can do it for 4 quarters, but I think Kentucky's going to get theirs on the ground, and theirs is not going to be 330 yards. Is that what they got against Florida? I seriously doubt they're going to get close to that mark, but I think that talented football players can make plays against this defense. And they've shown that time and time again over the first few weeks, and that's not exclusive to the Auburn or the South Carolina games. The defense, look, I mean, you take away Peyton Thorne's run and the yards per carry goes down and whatever, his 61-yard run, but the 61-yard run happened, and it happened against Georgia's defense, and you can't just throw that out the window. So I think Kentucky's going to get theirs on the ground, but I've been saying for a few weeks now, I don't think Devin Leary has been all that for them. It's been pretty inconsistent. You know, he's going to have to play well for them to win. And I know I said that I feel confident Kentucky's going to cover, but I also feel confident Georgia's just going to win this game. I just think it's going to be hard to separate if they just don't have the ball that much.
Okay, listen, first of all, listen, make sure you're taking advantage of these awesome offers that we have from EcoPoly. They have been tremendous sponsors and, not sponsors, but partners. And, this chair right here is absolutely comfortable. I've been using it for months now, and it is awesome. And let me just say this too, 15% off, and you're going to get free shipping, and Ryan and I can vouch for and explain to you how seriously they take the shipping. With that said, here are the numbers, okay? This is reality. 113, 115, 135, 160, 329. Matt, one of these is not like the other.
Yeah, sorry, you went in and out. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, I will go through it one more time because I think it's
well,
okay
I think
to
I know
go
what that is. I think I got what you were throwing out there.
Yeah, 113.
Yeah.
115, 135, which is fine. 160, which is certainly fine. 329, which is insane. One of these is not like the other 4. If you're basing everything you know about Kentucky off what they did against the Gators, Matt, that's not the way they played the entire season. I just want to back people off the ledge because I know how this is going to happen. I know what people are doing right now. And the Georgia fans have built Kentucky into the number one, the Pony Express. That's not quite who they are, though. That's what they did to the Gators. That's not quite who they are, though.
Yeah, that's the best they played all year.
No question.
And I think I took Florida to win that game like a moron. But they came up and they played smash mouth football, and it makes me kind of put Florida in the fraud category after that win. They just sleptwalked, didn't even show up. And I thought Florida's defense would be better, but Kentucky came out and they want to play hard, physical football and run the ball effectively. But how many backs do they have? Who can run the ball outside of Ray Davis, right? If you want to be that team that beats Georgia, especially on the ground, you need a lot of guys who can do it. And Devin Leary at quarterback cannot run the football against the Dawgs. So I think they would need a little bit more weapons at running back if they want to pull this upset off. I like the receivers they have, but Devin Leary's had some trouble consistently getting it to them in order to beat these big teams. But again, this is the biggest test they've seen all year by a mile. And in this crowd, this setting, that stadium at night, the place is going to be rocking as we expect. And I think that is definitely going to make an impact, Ryan.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good environment on Saturday night. I thought Florida was in the fraud category before that game. So that's just my opinion. There, a long list of frauds this year, but then they're one of them. But I just think that if they can get the ball going a little bit on the run game, I have a hard time seeing Devin Leary play even as well as Spencer Rattler did. But as far as, separation in this game, I mean, I see it being around 2 touchdowns. But, look, Georgia, you would think that they'd play better against Auburn and South Carolina. And I'm not ignoring that either. against higher quality teams, and rank them however you want to, because I'm not sure where you'd put Auburn and South Carolina. Georgia hasn't looked dominant, and I need to see it.
Yeah, so just real quick math here. You're looking at for I keep wanting to call him O'Leary because of Georgia O'Leary through the years. That Georgia Tech's excellent head coach in the '90s, but in the two conference games, which are reality based, I would say for Kentucky coming into this season, Leary is exactly 50% on passes, 24 of 48, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. That's not going to get it against Georgia. I mean, that's what Spencer Rattler did, and he played well for a half. He did not play well for the other half, Matt. But I think it's going to be a long night for the Cats, personally. The thing that Cedric was talking about, they can't get too, up or down. I mean, you see this. You've seen this a million times, Matt. I'll give you the final word on this. It's tough to play in Athens. Do you think that Georgia's players will be too hyped? Do you think Kentucky's kids will be? I mean, Kentucky plays on the road too. This is not anything necessarily new. It's just new this season.
Yeah. I think both will play fine, and they both played in big atmospheres before. Maybe not Kentucky so far this year, but as far as it relates to Georgia, if they can get off to a hot start for once and get a lead going, in the second half, and make Kentucky throw the ball in the second half to get back into this game, then they're sitting in a great position. We have yet to see this team play well. I mean, I don't even want to say dominate, but they haven't even played well in the first quarter. If they can finally get over that, first quarter slump, get some points on the board, play with a lead the entire game, that's going to make things even more difficult for the Cats, Ryan.
I think that's one of the biggest things is jumping out there and scoring early and often. If they can score in the first quarter, they can get some momentum, they can start to feel good and just click faster. They're just taking so long to start clicking. And if that happens earlier, then yeah, this could get out of hand, because I do think Georgia is that much more talented than Kentucky. So I think that's one of, the two biggest keys is, one, stopping Ray Davis, and two, score early, finish these drives. And then, this could get out of hand for Kentucky.
All right, the Dogs will have to do that Saturday night in Athens. Thanks for watching.